So you guys know that I took off the fenders yesterday pretty much to put on the new carbon fiber fenders. Boom, here they are. So the driver's side is on, well, mocked up I should say. The holes are all drilled out. I'll get to the holes in a second. They're all drilled out. The fitment though, I just want to speak on the fitment real quick so you guys don't burst it or burst any bubbles. The fitment isn't going to be perfect. Like if it was the OEM one, there would be a smaller gap here. The reason being for this gap being here, and what I noticed is when you take it off, it's actually going to be this portion here, the surface. If this was out more, a little bit more, then that gap will close. But because the way it was made, you're gonna have a gap because primarily you have these mounts right on the inside there, and then you have like a nut plate here. Now that might bring it in when you're doing it and have a closer fitment, but right now just mocking it up, trying to put it as close as possible, this is the closest fitment that I can possibly get at this moment. So of course I'm going to do the easy side. Why would I show you guys the easy side? Now going on to the passenger side. Passenger side is going to be the exact same thing. The only thing that's hard about it is that you have the windshield washer fluid bottle that you have to mock up as well. So what it seems as though is that you have to put the fender on first, then you go back in, and then you put in the windshield washer fluid, hook everything up. But it would be best to kind of hook everything up while or before. And when I say hook everything up, I mean like the hoses, the connections, all that stuff to the windshield washer fluid. Hook that up first before you actually put in the windshield washer fluid, because then it's going to be a really tight area to do so. Going back, and we can use the driver's side as an example. Going back, when you're doing or trying to mock things up, you need to make the holes as large as possible. The only thing that you need to be wary of is tightening it. I don't know if you can see it here, but you see how thin that is, how like thin I made that? Try to avoid that, because in the future that can become a crack or potential crack hazard. Another thing is when you are tightening these, you don't want to tighten these too tight, pretty much snug, because you can actually crack the material. A lot of things that people are not aware of is that yes, carbon fiber is practically pretty strong, but it's only strong in a stationary position. It only allows but so much flex until it cracks. Carbon fiber is pretty brittle at that. A lot of people don't know that, so just keep that in mind. You want to make sure that you don't tighten it too much, because like these areas here, you will crack them. So yeah, and try not to do this. And this is the same with like metal. When you make it too thin, that becomes a like a stress point, and that will crack. So just keep that in mind. So you pretty much have to do the same all the way around, making it that large so that you can make adjustments when moving back and forth. The only time where you kind of have to be wary about is when putting on the nut plates at the collar here. So sorry. So like right here, you don't want to make them too large. You want to make them just large enough. I can't really explain, but you just want to make them large enough where you can put the nut plates on so that it can clip on the back. The way that this particular one was designed, it's pretty thick around, like the thickness of it is pretty thick, so this isn't really going to go anywhere. If it's metal, normally what happens is that you get like a click, and that just means like the back of the nut plate is just sitting inside the hole, or seated inside the hole. That's all that means. Yeah, so what we can do now is pretty much what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to skip to the point where I'm actually drilling out these holes to make them much larger, because those are the most time consuming things to do. And then once I'm done with that, literally you can just put everything back on. little too far. So what we need to do now is transfer the bottom mount. Now that bottom mount is this here. So that is going to be a 10 millimeter. And then there's going to be these there's going to be 3 tabs right at the bottom here where these bolts are connected into. We're going to need to drill holes at the bottom of your carbon fiber fender in order to fit those in there. And I don't think anybody be telling you that, but there's a lot of drilling that you gotta do. So these are the tabs that I was talking about. Hopefully it's you guys can see. What you want to do is right at the back. You see this here? Hopefully you guys can see. No, you guys can't see. You see this here? These, it's kind of like, it literally looks like this. And what it is when you put these in or take them out, you have to squeeze them so that they're like this and they're able to slide out. So what you can use is probably like a pliers. I'm just gonna use my fingers and I'm trying to improve my grip strength, you know? Just squeeze, pop it out. Just try not to lose them. Boom. Just like that, all right? And then the last one over here, what I recommend, get yourself a marquee, like a Sharpie. Get some tape or whatever, as I'm not getting the tape. But what you're gonna do, you're gonna grab this, and I made some drilled holes already, because I thought that's where they were, based off of my calculations, but I was wrong, clearly, so that's that. So like these are like so like right here, this is where that main bolt would go. And then of course you guys saw that I drilled on this side here already. But where you want to put it is, it's kind of self-explanatory. It's not going to go this way. It's going to go this way because the clips of the side skirt is going there. So you want to kind of match it up. Let me take this out. Sorry. Trying to not make these videos too long. I like giving you guys, you know, everything we need to know within like less than 20 minutes. Because who wants to sit here for like 40 minutes and do all this? So you want it kind of flush as much as possible. And you want this to extend out. This is going to be right at the base there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole. Now, when you're looking at here, you're going to see you don't want it out up here because that's going to look weird. You want it down here. It's flush, and you're gonna want it so just that little bit of gap. Now, you can take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt because things may be different when it comes to yours if you are gonna do a carbon fiber. So it's not gonna be 100% the same with every piece. So just keep that in mind. Boom, boom, and boom. And then here, you don't really have to do that. You can, well, the hole that I have is pretty decent. But I can go inside here. All right, now, see if I can grab one of those. Hopefully I didn't go too much. See, that's a decent sized hole already, but these like 2 prongs, like they're not gonna be able to go inside. So what you can do now is you can make this a little bit, you can kind of draw a little bit if you want. I mean, you do whichever method is best for you. Right now, this is the fastest method because we got a show to go to tomorrow. So we got some other things to do, including detailing this thing as much as possible. So like where this is, I'm going to just up to that point and up to that point. And maybe I'll just follow these here, and I'll just practically just do that for the rest of them. And then bada bing, bada boom. All right, so we got that on. Now you can see how it lined up and how decent I did with that. So So we're going to put that there, see if that lines up with the holes, and it looks like it does. Not too bad, not too bad. Now, if you're not too confident on doing this, what you should do, and I recommend, is that you tape this, or this like bracket piece here, and then do your measurements. Don't do it like blindly, like how I did, and freely, so that you avoid making any mistakes. You did make that hole pretty large, the bolt hole, not these, this one. Did make that pretty large. You see how this goes when I put this on. What you guys are going to want to do is you want to get that long piece there at the bottom. You want to get that through here, right? Hold on, you guys are not able to see any of that. Ah, there we go. So this long piece here, you want to get that through the bottom, but in order to do so, I'm about to use my foot, you want to pull the side skirt back and then slide this through like that, right? Now, you can't just put that in. There's a slot right here. You want that to go inside of here, or you want this tab to go inside there. So you're gonna go boom, slide that in. You guys are hitting the camera, but slide that in, and then that's gonna go right there. And then you should be able to mock that up and then adjust wherever you need. And when I say adjust, I mean make bigger holes. So that's how you do that. See, so what you don't want this to go that close, or trust me, the bonnet is not going to close at all. So what you want to do is kind of find, that sweet spot of where, that's in, those are in, and then of course that's in. And then now this is where you make your real adjustments, where you can kind of see. And if you want to go even further, tape this up here to kind of give it some tension so it holds. Then after you do that, you pretty much, well, I got tools over there, but you pretty much close the hood, right? And then now you can see, all right, cool, how do I adjust that? Like over here, it's not the best. It's a little, well, it's not even attached, but when it's attached, that's why you make those pretty wide holes, so that you're able to pretty much use it as a slot and move it around and whatnot. So all right, so now what we're gonna need to do is put on the nut clips, or nut plates, sorry. These are nut plates. So nut plates right here. So when you put the nut plate on, it's gonna be a little hard to do. So a lot of times, or when you're actually taking them off of the previous fender, what you want to do is get a screwdriver. You're gonna put it right in between, like the gap right there. I know it's like blurry, sorry. You're gonna put it right in between the gap, and then you're just gonna push it through. And you can kind of twist, but you really just need to push it through in order for you to kind of wiggle it back out. And that's practically the same method that you're going to do here. So for example, and since this portion of the material is a lot thicker, kind of get it wider, push that in, boom. Now it's gonna pop back out. You can adjust it just a little bit. Hold on. I'm just gonna push it down. Hopefully you guys can see this. Boom. So just like that. Hopefully that's on there pretty good, and I've drilled the right size for it. So that's how you do it. All right, so these holes are now good. So those are just gonna line up in there and sit there. Get this in. Something don't feel right. Oh, that's because of this here. Then boom. So just like that. I guess now the only thing I didn't show you was just putting on this clamp here. This nut plate. You got to do it upside down because it's going to fit right there. And when you put the bolt in, it goes underneath like so. So That's why you got to make this opposite. And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I did that on the other side too. I'm gonna have to change that. And boom. Hopefully I don't have to make too much adjustments out in the back, primarily because I did a lot of shaving back there, or cutting I should say, so I don't want to do too much where it's already just, you know, messed up. But yeah, this is pretty much it. It looks pretty good in my opinion. Let's look at it. Yeah, that's sick. That's sick. I mean, that gap though, that gap is crazy, but I mean, too far, it's not that bad though. But otherwise, that is sick. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, so now you guys are gonna be able to see what it looks like. Now, this for you is gonna look a lot different because mine is all chewed up and look ugly and whatnot. For some reason, when I put in the upper wheel well cover, it's just not looking pretty. This, on the other hand, I'm not 100% sure why this mounting area won't actually fit to where it needs to go. And I don't know if it's because of, I'm not sure if it's because of the actual windshield washer, the way it's designed versus the way 135 is designed, or if it's actually because of the fender not giving enough room. All right, so what I did, I unbolted all of this, brought it out, and another thing that I saw was, boom, so this here needs to go inside that slot. I'm hoping that'll fit and work, but I'm not too convinced that's gonna change anything, if I'm being 1000% honest. Another thing, if you can see down here, I zip tied a few things, and that's because that piece there that sticks out, you can't even see it, but it's like right there. There's a piece that sticks out. You can see where that zip tie is. For some reason, that does not line up at all, like to the mounting area. I don't know where this is. It doesn't line up to the mounting area, so that kind of hurt. Another thing is, but I'll go through all the negatives that I found. And granted, again, grain of salt, because this could be a lot different for you, and if you go to an actual body shop, maybe things would be different. But sometimes, you know, I ain't bashing nobody. Can't bash nobody unless I do it myself. So, and try to see if that fits, and boom, it fits. So that works. So the problem was this piece right here. That was that issue. That needs to go inside there. So let's get that bolt, put that in, which is this one here. See, we're figuring this thing out together, bro. Cause see, we are figuring this thing out together. I'll be 100% honest, I know. So I got it on, mocked up, even with, because it's another day right now, if I'm being honest. So as you can see through here, I got the windshield washer fluid in, but the fitment, bro, it looks sick with the wheels on right now and the front bumper. I mocked up, of course, I put the front bumper on. I didn't show you guys that, but that's the one thing I wanted to show you guys real quick, is how sick the front bumper is. Because before, I don't think you guys remember, but I painted the front bumper and that was legit. It was bad, bro. It looked like a 6-year-old painted it, spray painted it and whatnot. It was bad. I mean, it wasn't terrible from afar, but like when you get up close, you're like, nah, bro, nah, it's bad. So I want to shout out the person who painted the front bumper. I actually have a 1M style rear bumper. I just wanted to change up the look a bit. The rear bumper, as you guys know, looks terrible on my car right now. Yeah, I'll give you guys a refresh. It looks disgusting, absolutely disgusting, as you can see. I mean, look at that, just terrible. But I got that painted too, which is nice. So that's gonna look really good. The only problem is going to be this rear diffuser here. Because of where the exhaust is sitting, I might just throw it on, make it just look ugly for a little bit until I get a new exhaust. If I'm being honest, we'll get to that. But I'm most likely gonna get a new exhaust because where this is sitting, it needs to go over just a little bit this way. So the diffuser that I got with the other one, if I decide to put that on with this, I'll just have to make more like a wider cut over here until I get a really nice, like maybe a carbon fiber diffuser, or if I decide to make my own, because I do plan to track this car, so I might have to just make my own, you know, like DT3 or DTM, sorry, like a DTM style rear diffuser or something like that, but we'll see. Now the front bumper, I just want to attack on that real quick. So I got this lip, right? I got this lip. It's not a carbon lip. It's technically a plastic lip. It's not pretty in terms of like, it's almost sometimes like a little bit wavy. Like it's not like a perfectly straight, you can probably see it right there. It's not perfectly straight. I'm not too pressed about that. I know some of you guys are nitpicky about that stuff, but I plan on putting, you see kind of how like wide this is? I plan on putting like a shield or like pretty much another piece under here that's gonna get attached to this portion here, and it's gonna go all the way through the undercarriage. That's my plan with that, so that it looks a lot better, and then that's gonna like straighten that out. So yeah, that thing looks sick, dude. That thing looks sick. I'm not 100% happy with the fenders, but it's nice. From afar, it looks really good. You don't really see like the imperfections. Like you can kind of see like right here, like there's a gap, but that's a whole different situation going on underneath there. Honestly, at some point, I'm probably just gonna take like the front end, rip it completely off, and just get a whole bunch of new front end parts for it. Change that intercooler. It's a big 7.5-inch intercooler. I might downgrade it to a 5-inch intercooler to get proper like the proper plastics, mounts, and everything for that. Put that all in and just make it look a lot better, or fit a lot better. So, because I'll look at examples online, like ain't nothing coming out like this, ain't no gaps like this. So that's not on them for this gap to look like this. That's on, though I mean it really doesn't matter, but it's not on them. This is something completely different. But on this side, you can tell it's slightly different, almost the same, but slightly different. And then you can see how like this isn't fully on. I just need to readjust so that this gap comes out a little bit more. It's the same on this side. Well, this one fits right through, but that's like a really tight gap. I don't know. I'm not really too happy with it, but it could just be the way that I fitted it. But from afar, that thing looks sick. It looks sick.